Well, hello and welcome to the channel. We are, or I am, down at the cemetery in the middle of Brattleboro, called Morningside. And Sue and I came down here, I think it was Saturday, to try and find out more about any famous or infamous people buried here. Today I'm going to take you down, walk down to a grave of a guy who was connected to the Rudyard Kipling family. So Rudyard, of course, was born December the 30th, 1865 in India, and he had a brief home here in Brattleboro. He built a very famous house which I've just left this morning called Nullaka. I have done a video on Nullaka. Roughly translated, it means an Indian jewel. So I thought I'd bring you down. We can walk down and I can show you a very interesting grave. He died, Rudyard Kipling, in 1936, the same time as his brother-in-law did. And he did have 3 children, John, Josephine and Elsie. John died after Richard pulled a few strings and got him to join the military. He died day 1 of the war. Very sad case. And Josephine was a little girl travelling to Brattleboro, Vermont, when she fell ill and died. And unfortunately, Elsie, I don't believe, had any children. That's the youngest. And she died back in 1976 at 80 years of age. So let's go and find and talk about this character called Beatty Balestier. Beatty was Rudyard Kipling's wife's brother, and Rudyard Kipling met his future wife from Vermont here, over in England, while she was looking after her older brother's English home. That brother went on to Germany and died over there, but meanwhile she had the acquaintance of Rudyard Kipling, and they got married. And their honeymoon, they travelled lots and lots of places, but one they particularly liked was Caroline, her home state of Vermont. Now they it's all right, I'm just fighting the mosquitoes. Now Caroline and Rudyard came here and built a home, Nullaka, and all was going really well until the brother-in-law Beatty joined the house to overlook the building of Nullaka and to run Rudyard's estate. Now Rudyard wrote the Jungle Book in Vermont at Nullaka, and many more short stories, being a novelist and poet, and his films are very famous today. I'll be right back. I just got to grab something from the car and I'll join you. Okay, thanks for waiting there. I had to grab some a drink from the truck, and grab a little bit of notes that I made on where he's buried, etc. So let's walk down and visit Rudyard Kipling's brother-in-law, Beatty Balestier, and I'll tell you a little bit about what I've learnt I'll turn you around so you can see. Kipling and his wife settled a honeymoon trip here, which first brought them both to the United States, and they had a little cottage they rented for $10 a month, and they named it Bliss Cottage. And soon Josephine was born on the 29th of December 1892. That's the little girl who later died on a return visit to the United States. So we won't go too deep into the story, but the reason for this video is to bring to your attention the feud that broke out between Beatty and Rudyard. As I say, all things went well for a while until, rumour goes, there was some gossip in the local Brooks's Hotel bar in town, where Rudyard was complaining about Beatty, how he was having to support him and just generally running him down. And of course, like all stories, that got back to him, and a serious feud broke out. Now, it was quite a long feud. It was an argument also that started over land opposite New Larka, the home that Rudyard built. There was some land which was owned by the Balestier family, who had left New York and come to live in Vermont, in Dummerston. And Beatty had sold some land to his sister and husband Rudyard to admire the views, to keep it open so they could admire the views from their home. I'm just looking on the left here. That must be, Sue and I think it's a pet cemetery, just to the left. So over dinner one night, Beatty overheard his sister say she was going to make a vegetable garden and do other things which he was not happy about, so that added to the feud. This feud eventually drove Rudyard. It was an east meets west, if you like, relationship, and Rudyard eventually left Vermont and headed back to Torquay in England because of the seriousness of Beatty threatening Rudyard's life. And instead of attending the court date of the hearing here in town, he left. He went to New Jersey, boarded a ship and sailed for England. I guess that was his way of dealing with it. Now, Sue and I had a job to find this grave, which isn't hard to find, but it's there's no sort of map here in town to look up where people, or if there is, I don't know about it. And we found it because of a picture online, and it showed a big stone similar to that one, which was in the background of the grave we were looking for. And it turns out that there was a connection with the Dunhams, the shoemaking people in Vermont, who were very wealthy, and I think Caroline's brother or sister married one of the Dunhams. So that would add up, because this is the Dunham family plot. And this magnificent thing in front of me, I don't know what you call it, with the stone benches, must have cost a lot of money back in the turn of the 20th century or earlier. So as I say, he died in 1936. Let's have a walk down. Here's all the Dunham family. They were very famous shoemaking. If this is the Dunham family, I'm not quite sure, but there is a very famous footwear company in Brattleboro by the name of Dunham, and we seem to think that that is all connected to this very wealthy family. Beatty, of course, was a drinker, which led to his demise, and he finished up with no money. So I'm guessing, this is my guess, that the Dunham family stepped in and helped out with his funeral arrangements. So here he is, the famous Beatty Balestier. He worked for Rudyard, helping with the estate and the building of Nullaka, and he at first thought the world of Rudyard and they got along great, but things soured. He heard in a pub, the Brooks's Hotel I believe, in the bar, that Rudyard was talking of him about having to keep his wife's brother and support him, and it got back to him and caused the famous feud. This feud went on to a point where Rudyard summoned him to court because of death threats, and when the day arrived, Rudyard left for New Jersey, a couple of 100 miles south of here, to the sea, to the docks, and caught a ship back to England and lived in Torquay and Brighton for the rest of his life. And also, as I say, he died in 1936 too. So Beatty is buried there with his daughter, and it looks like his mother. He was born in Marjorie B, their daughter, was born in 1921. Beatty was born in 18 something and died in 1936. Strange they haven't put the date he was born. It's like 1886 or somewhere around there. So wanted to show you that, something of interest or not, whichever you like or don't like. As you know, I'm doing more and more photography, getting drawn slowly into photography and making video clips, and I'm looking out for things to film, get me out of the house, get some exercise. I did the great Charles Bronson short video the other week, or last year actually, and that's on my channel if you want to look. He's buried 2 hours north of where I'm stood, in a place called Brownsville, buried along with his wife Jill Ireland. So this stone in front of me, I believe he was a governor of Vermont, and we'll walk over and see. Sue and I were talking about this on Saturday, and he was Levi K. Fuller, and that must have cost a pretty penny back then. Okay, I just had to stop and pause. Someone was asking me what this handheld device was and we finished up talking about quite a few subjects, and they knew the story of the Rudyard Kipling, but they didn't know how it ended. So we were just talking about that, and I'm going to swing the camera around. Hi there, and going to wish you all a good day. Up by my truck, they're cutting the lawns and trimming the hedges, so I won't be able to talk, and I will find us some more projects, try and get home before the storm moves in. It's very humid, as I say, with temperatures in the 30s today, but at 5 o'clock it's going to drop to around just below 20, so it's quite a change and quite a lot, 4 inches of rain coming. So again, all from the Dunham plot. We're going to walk across the field here, and I'll see you on another video. Take care.